Hey everyone, welcome back. Happy hump day. Today's Wednesday, so we had a little correction in Bitcoin miners as well. But we do have some good stuff happening here. So we got a couple of good news stories on Bitcoin that are bullish. We also have some good news stories for, not the Circle app, the other one. I'm trying to blank on it right now. But we'll talk about some good news there. We also have more news as far as convertible notes. We'll talk about that. We also have the AI action plan from the White House there. We're going to talk about that. We also have AI. So there was an article about 11 AI agents and what was their thought process as far as what currency is going to be the currency of the future in like 200 years. Bitcoin was kind of like the dominant favorite there. We'll talk about that. What else do we have here? I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. So we'll get into all that and get into Q&A as always. But as you guys know, not financial advice for entertainment only. Do your own research. Full disclosure below that. Hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. Helps me out as always. And it's actually Block that we want to talk about. Block is a company that's joining the S&P there. We'll talk about that really quick. But right now, let's take a look at what's going on here with Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners as well today. Things were much worse in the morning, but things kind of bounced back up for us here in the afternoon. And some of the miners were actually able to close out in the green, which was kind of nice. But Bitcoin today was down a little bit. It bounced back up in the afternoon, like I said. It was down just 1%. Not a big deal here, right? I mean, right now, to me, it just looks like Bitcoin's creating a solid footing from which it can then go up even higher here, potentially, right? I think we're still going to get to 125, 135, maybe 140 by the end of the summer here. We'll see when that happens. But right now, it just looks like we're consolidating as it is. RSI is looking good on it as well. We might come down a little bit more before everything is said and done. We've seen this happen before here, right? We consolidate, we go up. We consolidate, we go up. And then we had a little bit of correction here. And then finally started going back up here a little bit. I think we're still part of maybe this leg up here. So we're right there right now. We may go up, consolidate, then may go up again and then kind of come back down, right? Which I think might be right around 150,000 or so and correct down a little bit. Because we corrected from that point here. This was in May down to the bottom here. We were down 12% here. So we may correct somewhere around there, 12 to 20%, depending where things go. But right now, I think we're just setting up ourselves for a nice little leg up here. A little bit more here in the coming days, weeks. Don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I think we're going to go up. Unless something happens in the news and we go down. But other than that, we do have that gap here on the CME futures here. That's at the bottom of it is around 114,365 roughly. And the top end of it is around 115,600. So that might get filled as a wick just goes down to it and we go back up, right? Doesn't mean that we have to fill it. We do have a little bit of a gap here as well. Back here, this was back from April. It's a little one, not a big one, but we haven't covered that one yet. So we still could definitely go up here without covering that gap there. On it, markets were up today for the most part. Google had good results as well. Those came out. Tesla, not so great results, but they're going to be improving going forward with obviously AI taxis and all that stuff that they have plans going forward. So I'm not worried about them. Ethereum was, let's see here, down again today. It's up a little bit here in the hours. In the new day, it was down 3.16% here. So those treasury companies did not do great today. But miners were down just a little bit, right? They weren't down as much as I would have thought they would have been down, but they were still down like 3x of what Bitcoin was. Bitcoin was down 1%. These guys were down 3%, 4% on the day here. So Bitfarms was down 3.79. BitDeer was up actually a little bit here. You can see the wick that it had here on the day. Let me zoom this in a little bit so you guys can see it actually. Right, there's that wick. We definitely were down much more. Then towards the end of the day, we started climbing up into the green. Kang was down 1.35%. Cypher down 3 3/4. Again, that wick was much worse. It was down like 5-6% at one point. Cleanspark kind of in the middle there, 3% down. CORZ was actually up a little bit, 0.07. Hive was down 4% after being down much more and then bouncing back up. Hut 8, same thing. Finished out the day being up 1.17%. IREN definitely wanted to be in the green here, 2.15%. I think that's the best performer here out of the miners. Mara was down 11.62% today. That's based on the news of the convertible notes, I believe. On that one, Riot was up just a little bit as well, 0.49%, and Wolf was down 1.14%. MicroStrategy was down 3.2%. Galaxy was up 6.65%. This one's having a nice little run up here recently. We had also Coin being down just a little bit, 1.64%. Metaplanet being down 2.5%. What else do we have here? This one is, I can't never remember this one. Nexon was up just a little bit. Semler was down 2.16. The blockchain group was up a little bit, 0.49. And then the other ones you can see here were up and down. Small miners actually did a little bit better today than some of the other miners, the big guys. Annie was up 5%. Argo was down 2.5%. DG Power was down 1.68. DMGGF was up 1.32. Mawson was up 4.6. And Cannon was up 5.9%. They're a little bounce on those guys. Bitcoin miner ETFs were down for the most part, except for DAP being up 0.05%. And then the Ethereum holding companies, Digital was down much lower, and then it kind of bounced back up here a little bit throughout the day. So that one was up 2.75%. You can see that on the chart. BTCS was down 6.98%. BMNR was down another 2%. That one's kind of, that might be like the floor for it here. We'll see. Game was down 7.97% as well. That one continues to go down. SBET was down another 5.8% as well. Those guys are kind of maybe bouncing out here as well. We'll see. On that one, Bitcoin dominance here is at 61.79%. That had a pretty big jump here. So we may be seeing some rotation happening from the altcoins back into Bitcoin there as well. And what else over here? I think that's it on what happened today, more or less. Miners right now in the late hours, pre-hours of trading, I guess you could say. Bitdeer is up just a little bit, 0.81%. Bitfarms is up 1.57%. Kango is up just a little bit, 0.59%. Cypher is up 1.95%. Nice little bounce back there. Cleanspark's up also 1.12%. Core up just a little bit, 0.15%. Hive up 0.41%. Hut 8 is down 0.65%. IREN is up 1.05%. Mara is up 1.02%. Riot right now is up 0.98%. And then, or 0.77, just keeps fluctuating there. And Turbo 0.58% on that one. Bitcoin for the month of July is still up 10.84%. So we're doing pretty good. A couple more days to go in the month here. We'll see where things end up at that point. But we should be green in the month, right? So that'll be nice. August might be a better month for us here. We'll see. And then September historically has not been a great month for us. So we'll see where we end up at. Bitcoin ETF inflows here. Strange that we're seeing IBIT report zero transactions. Nothing being bought, nothing really being sold. That seems odd to me. Either somebody's on vacation there that typically reports that. It just seems odd to me. If you guys have any data on that, let me know, because that does seem kind of odd there. All right, some good news stories on Bitcoin here, bullish stuff here. H100 Group has just bought an additional 13.8 million Bitcoin, right? They continue to stack theirs. They now have 628.22 on the smaller side, right? But they're continuing to hodl. They're going the same route as strategy is. On that one, we got Metador Technologies also has just secured a $100 million facility to buy more Bitcoin. First USD 10.5 million closed. All proceeds go to Bitcoin. We're building towards 1,000 BTC by 2026, 6,000 BTC by 2027, and 1% of all Bitcoin long term. So they want to, wow, okay, that's a pretty ambitious goal there. Minimally dilutive, fully aligned, full press release if you want to read it, is over there. Next good news story is Block. Block joins S&P 500, becomes the third Bitcoin holding firm in the index. I think MicroStrategy might be heading in that direction as well. They might be joining there. Don't know exactly when, but I think that's going to happen as they continue to stack more and more Bitcoin and do all these different vehicles for stacking Bitcoin. So I think that one will get there eventually, but this is obviously Block joins Tesla and Coinbase there right now with their high positions as well. And I think we're going to see more and more of these companies join the S&P as well as time progresses, as they get bigger as well. So that's going to be great news, not only for investors, but for us, because obviously they're going to be buying more Bitcoin. That's going to be great news. And then the interesting story that we have here is 11 AI models predict the future of money in 200 years, and Bitcoin dominates the list. So this is from Bitcoin News, and I don't know if this was written by anybody here. I don't see the name right now. So written by Jamie Redmond, okay? But he went and took a look at basically 11 AI models and posed them the question, what is the most likely money to be used in 200 years? You must choose one and only one, right? Some of these guys didn't choose it, but he used the 11 models queried for this experiment, included ChatGPT 4o, ChatGPT o3, Claude, PI AI, Mistral AI's LeChat, Venice AI, Gemini 2.5 Flash, DeepSeek, DeepThink R1 Reasoning, and Copilot Grok 4, and Qwen 3 Coder there. So ChatGPT 4 answer came down here, Bitcoin. It has the strongest chance of surviving 200 years due to its fixed supply, decentralized architecture, and ability to function without dependence on any government. Corporation with a single point of failure. No other monetary system today offers that combination of durability, portability, and neutrality at global scale. right? Those are all the reasons why we're in Bitcoin and some of the proxies here as well. We have a strong belief in that, and I also have a strong belief in that as well. So there's one. Claude answered Bitcoin again. While it's impossible to predict with certainty, Bitcoin has the strongest foundation for long-term survival among current monetary systems. Its decentralized nature means it doesn't depend on any single government or institution. Its fixed supply cap of 21 million coins provides built-in scarcity, and its open source protocol can evolve through consensus. The network effect is already substantial, and unlike traditional currencies that can be devalued by political decisions, Bitcoin's monetary policy is mathematically determined. Right? This is why we love Bitcoin. Next, here's Pi AI answer. This one's a little bit more, let's see here. It says here the projection is based on considering long-term trends and potential technology advancements. It is likely that a decentralized digital currency potentially evolving from current blockchain-based cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin will be the dominant form of money in 200 years. This projection is based on the growing acceptance and adoption of digital currencies, the increasing shift towards a globalized and digital economy, and the potential for technological innovation to enhance the security and efficiency of digital transactions. Right? So more or less kind of Bitcoin or something equal to Bitcoin as well at that point. Next is Mistral's AI lead chat. This one goes into quite a detailed explanation here, but given these factors, it's reasonable to speculate that digital currency will be the most likely form of money used in 200 years. So they're saying digital, but they're not saying which one. And that one, Venice AI, let's see here. It says, while traditional fiat currencies like the US dollar, euro, and yen will likely still be in use, their dominance may wane as digital currencies offer more efficiency, security, and global accessibility. The rise of digital currencies is driven by technological advancements and the need for inclusive and efficient financial systems. Moreover, the increasing interconnection of global economy and advancement of blockchain technology suggests that a decentralized digital currency could emerge as a dominant form of money, potentially replacing or coexisting with traditional currencies, so more or less Bitcoin there as well. Gemini 2.5 Flash answer. So this is from Google there. I think I highlighted it here down below. Therefore, the future of money is almost certainly digital, global, and highly interconnected, right? So again, more or less Bitcoin, something like that. They're talking about maybe multiple CBDCs, other things. So it's not a definitive Bitcoin thing there, but a lot of these guys are. DeepSeek, down here, they also go into quite a bit of reasoning there as well. And I think there is final answer. The most likely money in 200 years is a global digital currency backed by real world resources like energy or computation, think Bitcoin, and managed by a decentralized AI system. This combines the necessity of digital transactions, the stability of intrinsic value, and the neutrality of algorithmic governance, make it the only sustainable solution across centuries, right? So that's more or less Bitcoin there. Copilot answer here goes into some reasoning as well. Would it look like Bitcoin? Maybe in principle, but with more speed, scalability, and sustainability, paper bills and coins, probably museum pieces, right? Definitely. I'm thinking that way. Right. The nice thing about Bitcoin, in time, it can adapt. We do have Lightning, everything else that can be as another on-rail system there for it. So there's optionality there as well for Bitcoin to continue to grow as well. Grok 4 answer here goes into it. Let me see here. Where did it go? Let's see here. As adoption grows, already evidenced by nation states like El Salvador treating it as legal tender and institutions accumulating it as a reserve asset, network effects will compound in a future with AI-driven economies, space colonization, or post-scarcity elements. A neutral, apolitical, and verifiable medium of exchange like Bitcoin is positioned to outlast government-backed alternatives, becoming the global standard for value transfer and storage. Historical precedence shows that sound money endures. Bitcoin is engineered to be the soundest, right? So there's that one. ChatGPT 03 with reasoning. Bitcoin here. As long as humanity still needs a scarce, verifiable store of value that travels at the speed of light, Bitcoin stands the best chance of being the unit the world will still trust in 2,225. So another one for Bitcoin here. Quen3 coder answer. While private cryptocurrencies and other forms may exist alongside government-issued digital currencies representing the most probable evolution of money, that balances technological advancement with institutional trust and regulatory acceptance. So that one's kind of more going for the CBDCs there. So will Bitcoin outlive every other currency? It has a potential, right? You definitely have a lot of AIs thinking it. We also have a lot of people thinking the same thing, that Bitcoin is the soundest of money that's out there right now, right? 21 million supply, that's all you're going to get. And it's not controlled by any single government or entity out there. It is public. It is for everybody to use as they see fit. So we're obviously not going to be alive at that point. unless we have advances in medicine and everything else, and gene therapy and all that stuff. Maybe we'll get to live to be 150 or something like that, maybe, or maybe more. But 200 years, I don't think that's going to be the case. Even at that point, I mean, you'd have to be now. I mean, I'm 40-something. I would have to live for another 200 years. So I'll be 240 at that point. I'm sure the bugs by that time have eaten me out completely from the ground. So I will not be around at that point. All right. I just thought that was interesting that even AI now is going towards Bitcoin as well. And it just goes to show the strength, popularity, and just the principle behind Bitcoin and what it actually represents here. So I love that. Next year, White House came out with their AI action plan, and we're going to kind of dive into it really quick as far as what's in it. There's quite a few things that I love in it, and then there's obviously some things that might be negative for it. So in brief here, the White House unveiled a national AI strategy centered on growth, infrastructure, and global dominance. Critics say it overlooks risks and weakens existing safeguards. The plan promotes deregulation, open source models, and export controls. Okay. The action plan outlines the Trump administration push to fast-track AI infrastructure, export American-made systems to allies, and roll back Biden-era regulations seen as obstacles to growth. Right? Regulations can be burdensome and can hinder growth as well. We all know that. That's, less government, less regulations. I mean, you got to have some regulations in place, but they got to be smart regulations. They can't be just idiotic regulations there. So key policies in the action plan include exporting U.S. AI. The Commerce and State Departments will coordinate with industry to deliver secure full-stack AI systems, including hardware, software, and standards to allied nations. Right? Accelerating build-out. The plan fast-tracks permits for data centers and chip fabricators and launches programs to train high-demand workers like electricians and HVAC technicians. So that's great news there. I definitely love seeing that, and I completely agree with that. We need to fast-track permits for these things to be built out, especially since we're trying to compete with China here, right? Cutting regulations. It removes federal rules that slow AI development and seeks industry input on additional rollbacks. So again, certain regulations are fine as long as they don't hinder growth, right? You don't want to have a study on something for 2-3 years because there's some bug on the plot of land there that you want to build on, and for some reason you can't move that bug out of the way or kill a bug, right? Just some stupid regulations like that. Next here, free speech in AI. Federal contracts will require that AI models remain free from government-imposed ideological bias, and yeah, they should be free without any input from the government. No censorship. They should be obviously accurate. And one of the big things that obviously Elon is proposing is they must be truth-seeking, truthful, to regardless of your viewpoints on it, right? So they got to take in all the data and everything else and come out with a truthful answer, not something that you wanted to come out with, more or less. So I agree there. And then here's some kind of drawbacks potentially to it, right? So Matthew Middlestead, a technology policy research fellow at the Cato Institute, a libertarian think tank, called the plan a mixed bag, praising its emphasis on rapid development compared to Biden-era orders, but warned of political overreach, right? One theme that I think is positive is the renewed emphasis on innovation. This is a quote from Middlestead. The point of this technology is to help people, and that really should be the point of these orders. And it does look like it's doing all those things, right? However, Middlestead warned that tying federal contracts to government-aligned models risk politicizing AI development. That's how you twist the space, he said. Developers will start building to appease the administration, right? That's why you don't want it to be tied to government contracts that have any kind of bias towards one party or the other. You want it to be out there completely, right, without any input from the government. If American AI models begin reflecting political agendas, then foreign users may see them as tools of U.S. influence and rather than a neutral technology. That could be devastating to the United States credibility abroad, he said, which I agree, right? Think about it like we don't want to use Chinese-based technology because we know that it's heavily based on the Chinese political system there and towards their favor. So anyone who wants to buy American models abroad will view our model as influenced by the United States government, just as we view China's model as influenced by the Chinese government. Middlestead said, no one's going to want to buy these things if they are seen as tools of Donald Trump And that is such a mistake. Or any tools of any president, not just Donald Trump in that case, right? Whether it's Republican, Democrat, we do not want these things being influenced by any of those people, right? We want them to be open. We want them to be honest. We want them to be without burden of the government, nation state, basically. Having its little fingers in it and trying to match up with their views and things like that. It just should be out there for everybody on it. So I thought this was also interesting. We'll see how this goes. But I think a lot of the stuff is good here. Again, we got to keep the government out of it for the most part, but have the government take out a lot of the roadblocks that we are seeing here in the space. And in any space, anywhere there's regulations, I mean, there's a lot of regulations out there. So if anything we can do to help speed up the process, that's a good thing. So that will be good for, obviously, for XAI, for Google, for OpenAI, for Oracle that's building out Stargate, all these guys that are trying to build out stuff. This is going to be good for them because it will be able to speed up the process, which is good. All right. Lastly but not least here, Mara Holdings. This is kind of funny enough. We had a question yesterday's stream as well about Mara's debt that's coming due in 2026. And I said at that time, well, I think they're going to probably get some more convertible notes to pay down some of that debt. Well, sure enough, here we go. We got some of it. They're paying down a little bit, like 1%, I think they stated in here. But I'm sure they're going to probably come up with another one later on down the road, pay off that senior note that's due in 2020 next year, 2026, and move on from there. But Mara Holdings, Inc. announces proposed private offering of $850 million of zero-coupon convertible senior notes. So today they announced that it intends to offer, subject to market conditions and other factors, $850 million aggregate principal amount of 0% convertible senior notes due 2032. Mara also expects to grant the initial purchasers of the notes an option to purchase within 13-day period beginning on and including the date on which the notes are first issued, up to an additional $150 million aggregate principal amount of the notes, basically bringing it to $1 billion in notes. The notes will be unsecured senior obligations of Mara. The notes are not expected to bear regular interest other than special interest in limited circumstances, and the principal amount of the notes is not expected to accrete. Okay, so that's all good there. Going down here, Mara expects to use up to $15 million of the net proceeds from the sale of the notes to repurchase a portion of its existing 1% convertible senior notes due 2026. The 1% of 2026 convertible notes in privately negotiated transactions, with the remainder of the net proceeds to be used to pay the cost of the capped call transactions, as described below, to acquire additional Bitcoin and for general corporate purposes, which may include working capital, strategic acquisitions, expansion of existing assets, and repayment of additional debt and other outstanding obligations. So, kind of like I said, right? They're going to use that to pay off future debt to then push it back out further, right? In connection with any repurchase of the 1% 2026 convertible notes, Mara expects that holders of the 1% 2026 convertible notes who agree to have their notes repurchased and who have pledged their equity price risk with respect to such notes, the hedge holders will unwind all or part of their hedge positions by buying Mara's common stock and or entering into unwinding various derivative transactions with respect to Mara's common stock. So I think they're talking about basically the shorts there. Any short positions or things like that, those might unwind, but then you're going to have new short positions possibly on this one here. So we'll see how this goes. But this obviously gives them more cash, right? So we know they're going to be paying down some of the debt that's due for 2026. They're also going to be buying more Bitcoin. And they're going to be probably using this also to grow their hash rate to the 75 exahash they want to reach by the end of the year. We'll see where their production looks like for July. Right now, I haven't looked at it here today, but I know as of yesterday, it wasn't looking that great. It was looking like maybe Cleanspark or IREN might actually overtake them in production numbers, which wouldn't be good considering that they are actually, what do they have, 57, 58 exahash right now, maybe more plugged in. So they should be producing more than those two guys. Not combined, but individually, they should be producing more. They should be number one here. But we'll see what they come in at. We have a couple more days, obviously, in the month of July here. We'll get that data coming out probably, maybe next week when they start reporting their monthly production updates. And we'll obviously talk about it then. We'll see how they do on it. But that would be something if Cleanspark and IREN are able to beat them in production. And that's one of the things, like I've said in other streams as well, that's one of the concerning things about Mara is they can never have a great span of time, several months, even more, half a year or something like that, where they just have awesome production and great uptime. There's always something that happens for some reason or another. I don't know whether it's just bad luck or what, or just the sites that they bought or have issues, whatever it might be. But yeah, it's a little frustrating. And I'm sure it's frustrating to the people that are holding Mara as well. You know, but we'll see how they do going forward here. We'll obviously cover it. All right, that is it. That is all I got for you guys. A lot of stuff is happening here. It's exciting time frame. Hopefully, I mean, a lot of things are happening, which is great, right? One, it gives me something to talk about, but the other thing is, I'm loving what I'm seeing here, at least in the space, and not only in AI, Bitcoin as well, infrastructure plays for power generation, all that stuff. I mean, there's going to be a lot of money made here in this space in the next couple of years, and hopefully you guys all can become great millionaires. You know, then you guys can buy me a coffee or something like that. I'm kidding. You don't have to buy me anything. Just come in here and we'll discuss it all. As always, hit the like button, subscribe. That's all I ask. So let's get into Q&A. Let's see what you guys have to say. All right. Alrighty. As always, if you guys could preface the questions with a question mark or a Q, I would appreciate it here. I'm going to scroll up as always and work my way down. All right. Let's see here. What do we got here? Alexander Hawk says, bought the dip on Mara at the daily low of down 14%. Very nice. Can't beat 1770. Yeah, I think it's undervalued, but I think the valuation is based on their operations, right? High cost to mine as well. We need to see improvements in that as well. Let's see here. Bang Bang OW says, hey, Hawk, also bought the dip and bought my first ever calls on Mara. Down, okay, I think it's 14%. Nice. Let's see. Alexander says, I'm not sure what this. I am too degen for that kind of stuff. Okay. Daryl Gardner, oh my gosh, thank you so much for the $50 super chat there. Question, do you think Hive has a chance to outperform IREN from here? I just sold 27% of my portion in IREN stack today, 6,000 shares, which is up 159%, and bought 36,500 shares of Hive. I couldn't help myself. They are just so undervalued. Thoughts? I agree with you. They are just way undervalued. My only concern there, and maybe the investors' concern as well, is they don't have any operations in the United States. That's the only thing that I can see as a impediment to their possible growth. But I could be wrong on that, right? Maybe they do finally start getting the love based on their growth to 25 exahash here by the end of November, potentially, this year. So, I mean, they have a lot of great growth. Their costs should be coming down because of it to mine Bitcoin as well, as they get newer machines installed and increase their hash rate, right, which will then help also some of the underlying costs like general overhead, right, employee salaries, all that stuff, right? Those things will become a much smaller portion of it as they are able to mine more Bitcoin there. So maybe that will help. They bought a AI data, or not an AI, but just a data center in, where was it? In Canada, 7 megawatts. I can't remember the location. I think it was Ontario, I think. I'm going off my memory here. I could be wrong. But they have a lot of good things happening for them, and they're progressing forward with that as well. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully it does really good. But by all accounts, it does seem way undervalued in comparison to the other miners as far as if you look at just market cap, look at exahash, you look at enterprise value, all those things, it's saying it's undervalued, right? But can it get the love? That's the big question there. Okay. Let's see. Alexander says, rule number one of being a miner investor, never sell IREN. Well, I wouldn't say never. You have to take profit sometime, right? You may hold on to it for a couple of years, but I don't know if you want to hold on to it for 10 years. Maybe you do. All right. Adam's got a question here. Do you think it's time for Cleanspark to add artificial intelligence cloud services to their business model? Why? Right. I know that the miners that are into HPC are kind of pumping a little bit better than Cleanspark is, but the other part of it is we haven't seen any of these guys really get any deals with anybody. And they're progressing towards that route. And they possibly know something that we don't know, right? They are in those meetings, they have those phone conversations, email conversations, whatever it might be, and maybe they see much more positive things to come than what we're seeing, at least right now. So I don't know. The other thing is their sites, right? Would their sites be good for AI HPC as well, right? Are they close to metropolitan areas? Do they have redundant fibers or close by fiber as well? Do they have the land needed to be able to build out further, to change, basically to redo some of the buildings there for HPCI, which would then include possibly having backup generators, right? Cooling towers, all that stuff. Can they put out, right? So all that stuff gets into it. And who knows, maybe they've had conversations with people about their sites. We don't know that, right? But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you got everybody going into it, so it kind of maybe makes sense to be like one of the only pure play Bitcoin miners out there. Especially Bitcoin does pretty good for them. They could truly be benefited by that as well. So I don't know. But I think they should, I think they should do what they're doing right now. right? Why get into that whole space when you got all these guys fighting for it right now as it is? All right, let's see here. Night Wicked question: how do you think Mara will do on their earnings next week? Is Mara undervalued at 1750 with the huge amount of BTC they hold? Do you see it hitting 25 anytime soon? I think it should be valued much higher. I think they're also going to have a positive EPS because of all the HODL that they have there. That's like a 1.1, 1.2 billion impact on their bottom line. But the big question is, can they get close to being EPS positive without the HODL there? That's the big question I think a lot of investors have right now is, can they get their costs down, right? All those things, power costs, cost to mine a single Bitcoin, right? Can they get those things all lowered? Can they keep their costs for overhead, for general administrative costs, right? Can they keep those down as well? So we'll see. But I think it should be valued much higher. I mean, right now it's not being valued much on their operations, and maybe it's more so on their HODL or the opposite way. So, but I'm with you. I think they should be valued higher from where they are. All right. Let's see. Xander Hawk says, Mara as a company has a negative market cap when you take away value of their HODL. Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy. Yep. Let's see. Bang Bang says, they'll pop 15% in my opinion. We need BTC to cooperate for once with good earnings. The last time we had great earnings, DeepSeek decided to kill BTC 15%. Well, it wasn't just that. It was also Trump tariffs, fears, right? All that pulled it down. Let's see it. Bang Bang says, FASB for this quarter is using that 108,000 as Q2 end value. I believe so. Yeah, whatever we ended up in Q2, that should be the value that they're using there. For a portion of it, plus the stuff that they mined during the 3 months there, that's going to be set based on wherever that price of Bitcoin was at that time. Bang Bang says, yeah, it was 81,000 Q1, 108,000 Q2, and the way Q3 is going, we're looking even better. Hopefully we get 2 to 3 earnings in a row without a dud. Yeah, that would definitely help. All right, Dale's got a question here. Which order would you rate the most gains over the next couple of months between Cleanspark, IREN, Mara, Riot, and Hive? Geez, that's not easy. I would say IREN maybe, if they can get an HPCI deal, that one might pop. Same thing with Riot potentially. Cleanspark could be also in there as well. If Bitcoin does well, Bitcoin goes up in value. That's tough to see which one's going to have the most gains. Hive could even surprise us. Who knows, right? That's a tough one there. My favorites are obviously Cleanspark and IREN. Mara, I think their operations need to improve in order for the stock to go up as well and get their costs down. Riot, I mean, can they get an HPCI deal? We know that they're kind of paused at Bitcoin expansion right now for Bitcoin mining. So I don't know how they're going to do. Hive has a lot of good growth here happening, so that one might actually do pretty good as well. It's I mean, diversify if anything. It's hard to tell. All right. Dad's Market says, I would prefer to allocate some funds to Cypher. Cypher, I think, I mean, there's some potential there for it as well. I mean, if he gets we talked about the rumor yesterday about Meta possibly landing a deal with them. So anything is possible. All right. Victor, question, if you had to choose one Ethereum treasury, which one will you choose? If I had to choose one, I would probably choose the one that has Tom Lee in it. Which one is that? Is that the BMNR one? I can't remember exactly which one that is. The one that has Tom Lee, I'd probably go with him. He's got some definitely pull in the industry, and he knows a lot of people. So whenever he speaks, people listen. Bang Bang says just buy ETH instead. I think that's definitely a way to go. Or if you want to leverage, do ETHU or options on ETH, etc. Okay, yeah, the other ways to do it as well. All right, Dale's got a question here. After BTC, would you buy more Ethereum or Solana? I own Ethereum right now as it is, a little bit, not that much. I think I would probably buy Ethereum, to be honest with you guys. I think Ethereum just has more time in the market. It also has had less issues than Solana has in the past. Solana, we've known, had, when was it, last year or the year before? I can't remember exactly when. But it was down for like number of hours, like 2 or 3 times during the year or something like that. So I don't see that being an issue anymore. It seems like they resolved those issues. But for that, I think Ethereum might be the way to go. All right. Gary's got a question here. Question, new Blackwell GPUs only work in the 5% most advanced data centers. How will they follow same path as Hoppers without tearing down almost all existing data centers? Well, I mean, depending on the customer there, right? We're seeing Meta build out these little, they call them tents. I don't think they're tents. I think they're just metal buildings to put those things in and run them that way as well. So you can still do it relatively quickly, and they did it pretty quick there. So it depends on the company, I think. If you're going to be somebody that is offering services to customers to be able to use those, your data centers are going to have to be probably upgraded, right? And that's why I said, I keep saying that the time to market, entry into the market is going to be the advantage right now, right? Especially if you can build these things out quickly and get them installed faster than anybody else can do it. You're going to reap the rewards there on it. It's the same thing kind of like with Bitcoin mining in a sense, or any other crypto mining, right? If you can get the latest generation ASIC machine for whatever coin that is, that's been from GPUs going to ASICs, right? Some kind of similar approach. You can make the most money as long as you're like the first one to get those things. But eventually people will start getting those, and your profits are going to come down as a result of it. So that's kind of the way I look at it. But yes, first mover advantage is definitely a big play there. D. Royce, I wish Mara had cashed in some Bitcoin instead of notes. Their strategy is to hodl Bitcoin, right? They will dilute shareholders to do it going forward. So I understand the thought process there about it. Them being a miner, I would have liked to have seen them sell a portion to fund operations and maybe fund a little growth, but also hodl at the same time. I'm not a big fan of the continued dilution of shareholders in order to do that. I mean, if I want Bitcoin, I can buy Bitcoin myself, right? I don't want them doing it for me. Or I can buy MicroStrategy or something like that. So that's kind of where I stand on it. Daniel's got a question here. Only one pick, Seb, please. Your single miner pick for the most upside within the next 3 months. Oh gosh. I mean, it could be any one of these guys. Like I said before, many, many times, we're one news story away from these guys rocketing. I mean, it could be Bitfarms, it could be Hive, it could be IREN, it could be Cypher, Cleanspark, Mara to a certain extent as well. Riot, same thing, right? Those big guys there, I think, have the most upside potential still to go. You have Bitdeer as well, could surprise us. I mean, it's tough to say pick one. I picked the ones based on operational metrics, Cleanspark, IREN, and then some other things like Cleanspark has a hodl, IREN does not, but IREN has HPCI potential. Bitfarms was also on metrics for growth there in operations. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at things. But as far as trying to figure out which one's going to have the most appreciation in stock price in a given 3-month period, that's impossible to really think which one's going to do it. That's why I'm a little bit diversified, because I just don't know. I probably should have like a little bit of every one of these stocks just to have it. But yeah, the one that does start ripping, that's the one you kind of want to put your money on, right? And you can't foresee that. All right. Maxim, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing this right. Question, hi Seb, would you like to know at what price you will consider selling some IREN? I'm up to 250%. I'm thinking about buying something else now. Which miner is the most undervalued, you think? Based on just fundamentals and everything else, I think Bitfarms and Hive are the most undervalued right now. But there are reasons for possibly why they're undervalued as it is. After that, I would say probably Cleanspark, Cypher still, IREN. What else? Mara, I think, is also undervalued there, but I think some of the other ones might have a little bit more upside potential there. But nice job on IREN being up 250%. I'm up on IREN 140, so I got in a little bit higher than you did, obviously. I'm up 140% right now as it is on it, and I'm still going to be holding on to it. I think it can go up higher, right? If you get an HPCI deal, or even if it doesn't get an HPCI deal, but if they go the route of trying to become like a CoreWeave or a hyperscaler in general, which some have mentioned that could be the way that they're positioning themselves to go forward, right? Instead of trying to get a deal with an hyperscaler or something like that, they're going to try to become a hyperscaler themselves in that regard. So if they can do it, we know it's going to be costly, but if they can get the funding for it and maybe loans for it and everything else, that might be a surprise stock there. So I'm holding on to it for a little bit longer here, let's just say. I don't know exactly for how long, but we'll see where it goes right now. I think depending if you're trying to get out in the next 3 months, if you're looking to invest in something that's maybe a little bit longer time period, 3 to 5 years, maybe even 10 years, right? They always talk about investing in some of these companies 10 years ago, right? If you invested $1,000 into this company, you'd have 1 million something right now, right? So could this be one of those things with IREN? Maybe, right? Only time will tell on that. All right. Sorry, Melon says, I'm buying Seb a Lambo. Please do not buy me a Lambo. If you do, guys, make it rich. Do not buy me a Lambo. Those things don't look comfortable. I'm getting old. I need something a little bit more comfortable. But don't spend the money on me. If anything, donate the money to a worthy charity or something like that. I think that'd be better suited there. All right, Guy. Many investors are losing hope in Cleanspark, at least for 2025. Again, I understand it, right? They have been underperforming here. But if you look at, I like to look at just here recently from basically when they bottomed out in April, where have they gotten to now as far as price appreciation? Comparing that to Bitcoin, they've done at least I think it's now like 2.5x on top of Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin's up like 25, 30%, whatever it is. They're up like 50, 60% at this same rate. Not only them, but everybody else here. So that looks promising to me, which leads me to believe that the next 5 months still are going to be really good for the miners potentially, if we just follow what's going on here in the last couple months. Let's see. Chris says, I sold Cleanspark and bought Mora today at 13% red. Nice. Fausti says, IREN is a beast. It's definitely done really, really well here. Victor C question. Which one is better by Cypher, Bitfarms at current prices and why? Oh my gosh. All right. Cypher's getting to, 23, I think, exahash by the end of this year. I believe that's the case. So they're going to be a little bit higher in Bitcoin. They also, I believe, have more Bitcoin hollow right now. They also have more sites than Bitfarms has and megawatts available to them. Bitfarms has had a rough, I wouldn't say a rough transition, but they've had a rough couple years here with issues with the board, things like that, previous CEOs. I think Ben is moving the ship in the right direction, moving itself more into the United States sphere, which should be good for them. They're at 19 exahash right around there right now as it is. We don't know about the site in Argentina. They had some power issues. We don't know if those have been restored or not. So that was, I think, 11% of their hash rate there. So that's roughly, roughly 2 exahash that's offline there as well. Don't know about that. So we don't know how their numbers are going to be looking for Q2. Might be a little bit lower than what we thought they're going to be. And other than that, I mean, they do have potential there. It's just, can they get an HPCI deal? Similar thing with Cypher. I think Cypher maybe has a little bit of a leg up there. So I think maybe Cypher might be the better one to go with, at least right now. Okay. Let's see. John says, give Seb a thumbs up and buy him a coffee. Appreciate it. Chris is all in Mara now. Okay. Chris, you were in Riot, now Cleanspark, now Mara. Okay, Alexander Hawk, I am in Mara for the quick bounce. Don't have much faith long term. Okay, yeah, I mean, as a trade, yeah, you can definitely do that. Hard Knocks says, picked up a lot of Mara today on the dip. When their numbers come out with the FSB, they should rock. They should, yes. But again, you would think that they'd be priced in already for the most part, right? And the reason I say that is because, Mara, and specifically Mara, they haven't been really priced on their hodl position here. So maybe the investors are not really looking at that. They're looking more in the operation side of things. We'll see. I mean, I could be wrong, and Mara, I know Mara's going to provide positive EPS based on the hodl that they have. But are the investors looking at operations? What's the cash flow like, right? Are they cash flow positive or not without the FASB impact? Okay, let's see. Guy says we should have invested in AI like Big Bear and not miners like Cleanspark. Miners are good for day trading, but not in long-term investments. Yeah, depending when you got into them, I would agree with you there. If you got into them and were able to hold on to them for a little bit, for a little while, actually, a couple of years, you might do okay. You might do pretty good here still in the next couple of months. But yeah, they have been definitely very volatile here the last 2-3 years. All right. Let's see, John says bought Bitfarms at $1.25, crazy undervalued. I agree with you there, right? Can it just get to the love and get valued properly? Let's see, Hardnock says Cypher is a monster in the making, I believe. It has the potential as well. Let's see. Alexander says, Guy, you are wrong. I am 170% green on the miners, holding them for the last 5 years, including being 80% at one point in 2022. Okay, yeah, I mean, depending when you get into them, right? Let's see. XVexed, when stocks approach yearly highs, is your finger on the sell button? I sold 40% of my IREN holdings at 21.36. Nicely done. Yeah, I mean, there's no, right. Everybody's got to do what they feel is best for them. Take profits, right? When you have profits, there's no shame in that, and it's money in your pocket. You earned it, you made it. Definitely, put it to some good use and move it some more. So it just depends on your philosophy and your trading style. All right, Gary, do you feel with Mara being the first miner in the space and them continually diluting shareholders is why Wall Street hates all miners? Seems they give miners a bad look outside of the space. Well, they weren't the first miner out there. The first miner out there was actually Hive back in 2017, 2018. After that, we got Hot 8 going, being traded as well publicly, I believe. And then the rest followed suit as well. But Mara wasn't the first one. Mara was the first one to get recognized, I think, back in 2021 when it went up 70x because of their overly ambitious and overly promising to get to 21x hash in a year when they were at like 3x, or not even that. I think they were like at 1 point something exahash. And they were saying that they're going to 21 exit in a year. So that's why the stock, I think, ran up at that point. But yes, they are the biggest as far as hash rate is concerned, high position, all that stuff. Does it give all the miners bad name? No. I think because all the miners are individually, I mean, they're lumped into with Bitcoin, but they're individually priced as well. At certain points, some do better than others, so no. All right. Daniel asks, have you jumped on the treasury companies? I have not. Nice retrace for entries in SBET, UPXI. Don't you think these will largely outperform the miners at the stage of the cycle at current prices? Again, that's if the altcoins, Ethereum, Solana as well, outperform Bitcoin going forward here, which I don't know that they will. They've been lagging here for the last probably 2 years. Since Bitcoin bottomed out back in 2022, they've been lagging. So I don't know. I mean, it's a bet you can definitely make on it to see if that's going to work out, but I just don't know. All right. Dad's Market Stats question. With so many BTC treasury companies, do you think they will have their own ETF soon? Oh, I mean, somebody might definitely do that. You might have like the Ethereum ETF. You already have. Well, I don't know if do we have a Bitcoin ETF for the treasury companies? I don't know. I haven't looked into that one. Hard Knock says, I have a strong feeling we'll see Riot land a big HPCI deal soon. I mean, all these guys have a possibility there, right? It's just who gets it first. All right. Maxim, any thoughts on Galaxy Digital? Do you think this company have great upside potential? I mean, they do so many things. What's his name? Mike. Oh, gosh, I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name there. Mike. I know the person. You guys probably know Mike, right? The CEO of the company there. They do so many great things. He's also a big bull on Bitcoin as well. Right? They do loaning. They do other things. They do other services as well. I think they're, a well-diversified company there. Stock has been doing pretty good here. I think it's been doing pretty good here, right? We've been kind of keeping an eye on that one for a while now. And it should be in my Bitcoin treasury hold. Yeah, Galaxy. I mean, recently it's been doing pretty good here. If we look at the screenshot, it was at 11.27 here in April when everything bottomed out. And it's up to $43. So what does that give us here from the bottom, more or less, all the way to the top here right now? It's 253% up. Yeah, it's been doing great. They have their Helios facility, which is now being converted over into HPC AI for CoreWeave, right? So they're going to be generating revenue from that. They may also look into other data center sites like that as well and get those up and running, have some more businesses going that way, and then also do some lending, some other things. Yeah, they're a pretty good company. I mean, he made a bad bet on, what was that one that he got hosed on? Terra Luna. Terra Luna was the one that he got hosed on. Mike Novogratz, that's his name, on that one. But you live and learn, right? You win some and you lose some, unfortunately. If you make strong bets on something, you're going to hopefully win more than you lose more, or win more than you lose less. Okay, let's go back here. All right. Michael Taylor, question: why did the U.S. government sell 80% of their Bitcoin in their strategic reserve? That is a good question, right? We saw that last week, where it looks like they only have, what was it, like 19,000, 20,000 Bitcoin left or something like that, where they should have had like over 200,000 or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. They got to do an audit on it. And while they're at it, they should really do an audit at the Federal Reserve as well, at Fort Knox. Is that gold really there, or are we down, 80% on that as well? We need to figure out what's going on there. All right, Heinze, quick question. Too much alts and poop coin noise. BTC is still king, but anyone buying miners still? Last time I bought was probably, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago? Was the last time I bought. We do have people here that have commented that they are buying right now. Cypher, Bitfarms, Fausti, why buy Treasury, buy the coin, own the asset? I agree with you. I think that's a better way to go than owning. I think it's because those guys have been getting kind of a multiple effect on price appreciation compared to Bitcoin or other coins as well. So I think that's kind of why people are looking for those, right? Plus, it's an easy way to get into it. You have a trading account with Fidelity, with E-Trade or something like that. You go on and buy the stock there. It's easier than trying to open an account on like Coinbase or Gemini or Kraken or some of the other ones. And then you got to worry about them, possibly losing your coins there. Or if you try putting it onto your own hardware wallet or something like that, you losing the keys or something like that. There's people that had Bitcoin on their laptops that are searching the landfills now for $700 million that's lost because, oops, I forgot about that I had it. So I think it's just an easier way for people to get into it. All right. XY says, don't exclude Hut 8. Hut 8 also is a possibility there, right? They're a little bit less quiet on things right now, at least. But yeah, they could surprise us as well. All right, Dad's Market Cap says treasury companies get MNEV on their HODL. Yep. All right. Gary's got a question here. I think IREN benefited by being last miner in cycle to buy, as they have most advanced fleet over those who replaced a year earlier. Proper timing is probably better than first. Yeah, they did a really nice job there. Right after their little, I wouldn't say debacle. After their little, remember the special purpose vehicles that they had there for the fleet of around, was it 3.5 exahash? This was going back to now 2021, 2022, that they had to give back. That kind of brought them down, and that's kind of when I started looking at them. But yeah, they've done a much better job here since then, which is nice. All right, that's market stats. If you believe in BTC, wouldn't you prefer getting the multiple? If you believe in BTC, wouldn't you prefer getting the multiple? So a multiple on like the proxies there? Is that what you're talking about? Let's see here. Gary Powell, same in the HPC space. Those who went in first, buying huge number of hoppers, I don't feel have a huge advantage over IREN, waiting to go all in on Blackwells after small experiment with a few hoppers. Well, hoppers weren't even available at that time, right? So Blackwells weren't even available at that point. So you kind of had to dip your toes into something to figure out what's going on there. And luckily for them, Blackwells are coming out now where they can get into those things as well. But you're seeing XAI buying a bunch of these things. XAI wants to get to like 1 million GPUs or something like that. We're seeing the same thing with OpenAI as well. So that stuff is coming in. Amazon as well. All these guys are going to be buying up like crazy. All right. Michael Taylor, let's see your question. Satoshi era whales woke up a few days ago and sold 9.6 billion in Bitcoin in one transaction. What if Satoshi wakes up and decides to do it too? Will Bitcoin die out? I don't think it will die out. But if Satoshi's alive and just holding on to it until Bitcoin gets to $1 million or something, who knows, and then sells, being the world's first trillionaire or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how that would impact the market. It depends on how much he would sell if he sold everything. But if he sold a little bit here, but yeah, he's got a lot to potentially sell. That's why I don't think those things are going to be ever moved at all. A lot of it is riding on that being basically lost. More Tim question. I think Cleanspark is more hated than Mora. How do you think that affects the stock going forward, if at all? to be honest, I don't see the hate for Cleanspark as I do for Mara. So I don't know where you're getting that or where you're seeing that, but I'm only on X here. You might be on other platforms as well. Maybe you're seeing it there. But on X side, I don't see it there. Yeah, I mean, they get poked at for buying a plane, right? For maybe bad timing on some of their press releases and when they sold and things like that. But operation-wise, I mean, you can't really complain with what they've done here. Mr. X, do you think Cleanspark will go into AI if there is still a niche for them to occupy as well? Again, I don't know. I don't think they will. You already have so many people trying to get into that. They have, what is it now, 30 sites across the United States. Could a number of those sites be potential for HPCI? Yeah, I think there might be quite a few. Well, I don't know exactly, but at least a handful to maybe 2 handfuls, maybe sites. A third of those sites might be HPCI potential there, but I don't know. Right? It doesn't look like they're planning to go in that route anytime soon. But things could change, right? I mean, if these guys, if the other guys, IREN, Cypher, Hut8, Hive, who else am I missing here? BitDeer, everybody else and their uncle that's trying to get into HPCI, if those guys start landing deals with big names or something like that, or even some enterprise customers or something like that, that might change the decision there. Maybe. I don't know. All right, Dynamite Uber. It's December 31st. No miners got an AI HPC deal. All miners pivoting to AI HPC didn't go up as much as the pure play miners. Would you sell IREN? Would I sell IREN at that point? No, because if Bitcoin goes up, I think they're going to still do very well with Bitcoin going up. So I wouldn't sell at that point. It was IREN's kind of the reason I got into it is because of their mining prowess and their cost to mine and everything else, right? That's just great. And then the HPCI is a bonus. If they get that, that's going to be a huge bonus, right? But I think just the Bitcoin mining side of it itself is good enough. And if they don't get any kind of deals with major clients, major customers, or anything like that, they can always go back to growing their Bitcoin mining side of things. So that's kind of the way I would look at it. All right. Fossey says, need to start thinking of people, teams, not all created equal and can build out AI HPC. That is very true. Let's see, Mbessa, question, how are you feeling about Ethereum treasuries? Any favorite, any plans to give in-depth analysis for their business models? I mean, treasury companies are basically copies of strategy companies, right? So they're going to do the same thing, convertible notes, stock dilution, things like that, to get as much Ethereum, Solana, whatever it might be. Same playbook as strategy. Not much really to look at there. It's just who can do it at an attractive cost and things like that at that point. And what's their MNAV, right? All right. DFly is asking, is Mara a buy at these levels? I think it's undervalued, to be honest, from where it should be. But again, their operations are kind of lacking right now as far as uptime is concerned, cost to mine. We'd love to see those getting up there. And if they can fix those things, I think the stock would do better. DFly, why is IREN just rocketing? No AI deal and no BTC. So might be 2 things. The one might be obviously the potential for HPCI deal is why it's rocketing. The other part of it might be that they themselves might want to become an like a hyperscaler, right? They may just want to build out the data centers and put in the machines themselves because they're starting to build up that reputation with NVIDIA as well, right? Could NVIDIA back them? It could be where NVIDIA actually backs them, right? Kind of the same way that they did with CoreWeave, especially if they have almost 2 gigawatts of available power to build out data centers there. So that could be one of those 2 things. I don't know which one it is. It could be a combination of the 2 as well. Let's see. DeFi, would you rather hold BTC or Mara? Well, I own both right now as it is. I own a little bit of Mara. I have definitely a lot more Bitcoin though. All right, DeFi, why is Cleanspark such a poop mining stock? This was around 24 when BTC hit 54,000 last year, and now BTC is at 118, and this is at 12 freaking bucks. Some SMH. Having event had a big impact on them, not only them, but on everybody else. All right, let's see. Dad's market stats. No matter what, you still should have some BTC in your portfolio and hedge against inflation, at least 5% of your portfolio. I agree, right? I would say even more, maybe even like up to 10%, depending on your age, obviously. I would agree with that. Yeah. Have Bitcoin, have some miners to play with as well, have some treasury companies to play with. I think you should be just diversified in that. All right, DFly, are we coming close to BTC top? If so, are you selling mining stocks? I don't think we're top yet. I think we still have a ways to go up, at least in like another 5 months or so, probably even more than that. DFly, if Cypher has no deal with Meta, this is crashing. It'll probably come down if there's no deal there, yeah. Let's see, JR, assume the lowest range of your prediction, $150, where you put Cleanspark, IREN, and Bitfarms. Thanks. Oh, if we only go up 50% from here, roughly, the miner should do, I'm thinking possibly like a 2x. Possibly. Right? We've seen that here just recently. Bitcoin went up 30% in the last 3 months or so since April. Miners have gone up 50, 60%. So they've done at least a 2x on that. So I would think that that would still be the case, maybe somewhere around there. D-Royce, BitDeer, or IREN? I would go with IREN, to be honest. What's your average cost for Mara? Mara, gosh, that's like, when did I get into that one? It was like around $12, $14, I think. I have to look at it. But I only have like, what, 140 shares of it or something like that? I don't have a lot. All right. D-Rag asks, question said, which trading platform app do you suggest buying Bitcoin on? I would suggest Coinbase and then take it off the exchange. Learn about self-hosting, self-storage, cold storage, hardware wallets, things like that. Learn about that. Learn how to operate those as well. But do it with small amounts, right? So until you get familiar with it, and, I would say get off the exchanges. Let's see. XVEX, Seb, I really like your continuous improvement with the presentation of the stream over the years. Oh, thank you so much. Glad you stopped with the sound effects. Experimentation is great and makes things fun. Yeah. I mean, you try things out, people don't like it, we stop it. Not a big deal. It's not like I'm set on anything. We're set in stone. But I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, DFly, are you buying IREN or Cleanspark at these levels? Last time I bought was about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So they've actually come up from then. And I probably would buy some more here. I got to see where my finances are going to be in the next month or so. I got property taxes coming up again. That's going to take a lot of cash out of me. Where I live in the state of Illinois, we got some pretty high property taxes. So I'm preparing for that as well. And then we also want to add on a little small deck later on this month or next month. So I got to save money for that as well. Happy wife, happy life, as they say. All right, Chuck has a question here. What will it take for Mara to get to $30? Not much. Good operations, I think, would help. But it doesn't need much to get there. This has got to show the public, the investors, that one, they're improving their operations, they're also improving their cost to mine. Those things would definitely help. And Bitcoin going up will help also. All right, I think I'm all caught up with you guys here. Yeah, I am all caught up. So tomorrow's Thursday. We got Thursday, Friday, and then when's the end of the month here? Is that Monday or Tuesday? Let's see here. I'm drawing a blank on when that's going to be. So let me see. I'm in July. Oh, we have actually ways to go. End of the month is going to be next Thursday. Not tomorrow, but the following Thursday. Okay, I thought we were closer than that. All right, so yeah, we got, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more trading days on the miners. We'll see where they end up at. We'll see where everything else goes, where Bitcoin goes. And yeah, so thank you all for coming in, as always. I hope you guys have a great night, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Love you all. Until then, have a great night. Bye.